Newcastle break into the top 4 in the Premier League, and Dan Burn has been starring once again. So he started 12 of Newcastle's league fixtures so far this season. He's part of a back 4 who have the best defence in the Premier League. He's versatile, left back, centre back. Do you think that he should have a place in England's squad when they head to the World Cup?
I think he's got a chance. I don't think he's done enough to force himself in front of like Chilwell for me. I think, you know, I like Chilwell and I think he offers you more in forward areas. But listen, you cannot argue with those statistics you've just given us, and what a signing he's been. And the whole story's good, you know, going back to Newcastle and things like that. It's a great story. Could he be in and should he be in the squad? Quite possibly and probably. Would he start? Not for me just yet.
Yeah, I really like Dan Burn. I think he's been fantastic for Newcastle. If you're looking at playing 3 at the back, which Southgate likes to do, you know, him on the left side of a 3, I think he'd be superb there. And he's good on the ball. He's tall, can defend, and he's versatile. So I think he should. It's just whether the problem we've got is no build-up games now. Like the next game for England is the World Cup.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway, Jamie. Ivan Toney wasn't going to get a game in build-up games. I thought it'd have an opportunity to play guys like Dan Burn and Ivan Toney.
No, I agree. He should have. But look, Ivan Toney's always going to be second best to Harry Kane, right? Simple as that. So you can kind of take Ivan Toney without really having to play him because you're just going off what he's done and you can use him when needed. But if Dan Burn was going to go to the World Cup, you'd be looking at him to start as in that back 3. And that's why I think he probably needed some warm-up games to find his feet for England.
James Maddison, so scored 6 goals in 10 Premier League appearances now.
Who'd you
2
take out?
assists.
Who'd you take out?
Do you take one less defender?
Well, you know, Gareth Southgate's not going to do that.
No.
You know, he's definitely not going to take one less defender.
Listen, James Maddison was suspended for the game midweek against Leeds, and then he came back in at the weekend against Wolves and was part of a 4-0 win. Another brilliant display from him. I don't know. I think he's
massive fan of him.
I'm a massive fan.
I think his goal return, his assists has been excellent this season. I don't know whether you guys agree. I think he's slightly unfortunate that he's in a position where England have incredible talent, whether it's Grealish, Foden and all those guys, Sterling. It's a difficult, you know, that getting into that side is a really difficult gig for James Maddison at this moment in time. But what you would have to say is, and I don't know whether Gareth has got a wee problem with him. I'm not sure. He might, you know,
he doesn't trust him.
The rumours are that he might have. But the one thing you can't argue with, I don't think James Maddison can do any more than he's doing.
I don't think when I look at the team, you know, it's not like if you had Maddison over somebody in midfield that it would shock me. Do you know what I mean? It's not as if like if you were to see Maddison on the starting 11 for the next England game, you wouldn't go, well, he's out of place, would you? No,
he deserves to be in there. It's just a position that we're really good in. You know, there's loads of good players performing and playing for big teams. I mean, Leicester have been struggling. He has been a little bit inconsistent, Maddison. He plays really good one week and then he might be quiet. You know, if you look at Phil Foden, you look at Saka, you look at Grealish, they're playing for top clubs. Mason Mount, who've come back into form. They're playing for teams that are fighting at the top end of the table and are consistent every week.
Okay, just a quick one as well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So he's just made his second Premier League start so far of the season. It was against Crystal Palace at the weekend. He scored a goal. We obviously know that he can struggle with his injuries.
Ivan Toney's better for me.
Yeah. Ali?
I think Ivan Toney certainly deserves a chance. I don't mind Calvert-Lewin, by the way, I've got to say. I think he's...
No, I like him.
He's quick, he's good in the air. And by the way, while we're on it, what about some of the Everton goals at the weekend?
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh, absolutely tremendous.
Yeah.
And at the other end of the park, we could have a discussion about Tarkowski as well.
Yep.
But I think Toney's just ahead of Calvert-Lewin for me.
Why don't we have that discussion about Tarkowski? Because... I mean, for Everton, for times this season, their defence is really solidified. They've really tightened up.
Well, that partnership, Tarkowski and Connor Cody.
Absolutely.
I mean, Frank Lampard must be sitting there thinking, what a touch I've had being able to get Connor Cody to this football team. Look at Wolves without him. Now, I thought it was the most ridiculous decision ever to get rid of Connor Cody. I can't believe they let him go, Wolves. And, you know, Lampard now has got a player and it's making... You're seeing a real Frank Lampard team. He's got his own team now and you're looking at him going... Actually, this man, he knows what he's doing. He's got a proper side together.
It's amazing.
And he's getting the best out of players who were not performing.
Well, you're spot on with Lampard saying what a touch I've got, but what a touch Connor Cody's had. He's arguably the bigger one.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Just a quick one for Tarkowski. He actually ranks first for most blocks this season, so that's 25, and second for most clearances with 69, and aerial duels won, there's 37. So there's no doubt in that his performances, his numbers this season have been way up there.
I know. I sometimes I don't always buy these numbers. Would you? I've got to be honest with you. I think one of the best defenders we've seen in the last 30 years never tackled, and that was Alan Hansen. And the reason he never tackled was he never needed to.
Yeah.
He put himself in such a position, where he was always comfortable. So I take your point with the statistics.
Yeah.
I just don't get carried away with them sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Harry Maguire as well, by the way, is Varane's pick up an injury. I mean, I was gutted for him. He looked like he knew he'd done something which might cost him a World Cup, because he was distraught. But Maguire now, does he get a chance? It might do us a favour. He gets some minutes. Or does Lindelöf play in front of him? If Lindelöf plays in front of him after Varane's got injured, Harry Maguire cannot go to the World Cup. I'm sorry. If you're fourth choice as a centre-half, you can't start for England.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.